Fisher built. Fuel tanks are the next generation of fuel tanks on the demolition derby parts market to date. With stainless steel construction, every tank is internally welded, braced, baffled, and pressure tested, with 2 standard size options available.
Fisher built tanks have you covered. From your local county fair shows all the way to your national level events, where you need maximum fuel capacity and structural integrity to get you to the end. If you are in need of a next level design tank, or you just need a second fuel tank for your new setup, give Fisher Built a chance to earn your business. You won't be disappointed. Ladies and gentlemen, Hard Nosed Derby Podcast. Derek, where'd you go last night?
Right down the road, Centralia Mo. Last show, what I thought the last show for J&B, after they talked in California. It's not the last show around here. I know we've got Madison coming up. Some guys around here are going to try to get ready for that. I think Slater is decently close to us as well. And that's about it for around home.
Yeah.
But I think it's all hands on deck for Bristol and Gold Rush and Blizzard Bash. Last night was a cleanup show for J&B and Centralia. Usually a cleanup show, there's usually a shitload of people. They had a decent crowd, not a lot of cars, because I think that is the purpose now. Everybody's looking at the bigger picture, national level, wherever you're going to go, whether if it's, Frankie Guy Youth Nationals, Gold Rush, Blizzard Bash, Bristol. So, a lot of those guys that usually would run that stuff didn't show up. And that wasn't just, one specific class. That was classes all the way across the board, except for Gut and Goes.
Naturally.
So, it was all right, but always could be better.
I don't know. I feel like we capitalized on the whole cleanup show thing whenever it was at its height.
Yes.
The 2 years that we did actually do the cleanup show, 100 plus cars both times.
But I think that's a difference that we have talked about. There's so many more derbies now than there was 3 years ago.
Uh-huh.
But now we're talking national level shit all within a month of each other. There's guys that are running all 3.
Ain't no fucking lie.
Oh yeah, all 3, or they're running 2 of them, and 2 of them they're running 2 of them instead of the 3, but then they're taking 2 cars to 1 of them.
Right.
Oh God.
Well, I don't have enough time off work.
Well, speaking of work, you went back on the road.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that yet.
Ain't had enough time in it yet.
Well, I got my feet wet last week, and the whole foreman thing. I don't know as much as I thought I did.
You know how to run equipment.
Yeah, I guess the first time I was there, I was so focused on being a good operator that I wasn't really paying attention to the other side of things.
Mm-hmm.
And I should have paid a little bit closer attention. I had to make quite a few phone calls.
Well, that's that difference between worker and a working boss.
Yeah.
Fuck, he's just a foreman. He don't know shit. Well,
a
lot of times they know more than you think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I should be finished up in Wichita tomorrow.
Kansas. Yuck.
But then I'm back closer to home. I'm going to Kansas City.
Yeah, yuck on the Kansas side.
I don't know. That Lawrence job wasn't horrible.
So let's get off the. Let's not talk about work no more.
Yeah, no shit.
You now have an itinerary.
Yeah.
For Bristol. I know a lot of guys have been asking what's going on with that.
So we've got a little bit of information now.
Yes. A little.
We've got, we've got an itinerary as far as when everybody's running.
Yes.
Looks like inspection starts for the Pro Division on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
Wednesday is Pro Light Division inspection, and Pro Light Division heat draws.
Yes.
And then Thursday looks like they're running Pro Division round 1, the MWFA heat that they added.
Yep.
And the Pro Light Division round 1.
So I do know I saw Brian post on the MWFA. Somebody was asking, how many they're taking. They're actually wanting to run 2 separate features.
Yeah, they're wanting to run one on Thursday.
Yep.
And one on Sunday.
Yes. With the what they're hoping is 20 cars.
Yes.
For each feature. I mean, 40 MWFA cars, I don't think will be that much of an issue when they stick 126 of them bitches.
The cleanup is the issue. Because
yeah, because it takes a metric shit ton of skid steers to get them off the track.
Yeah, because they're usually junk, completely junk. Shit has fallen off of them the whole time. Like I said, it's not the class for me, but it's cool. I mean, it draws cars.
Well, the thing that I like is because really, it's almost any car. It's throwing all your gut and goes, plus, van, sedan.
Yeah, we've seen
SUVs.
Tahoes.
Yeah. Whatever, and just lets them send them bitches.
Yeah.
We saw that firsthand at King of Ohio. Van, SUV,
Durango,
Lincoln,
yeah,
Tahoe.
Uh-huh.
And really it was even. And I know there was only 5 or 6 cars out there to watch that. But nobody really had an advantage. But when you're sitting there looking at it, you're like, man, that Tahoe or that Durango, that's got to have an advantage. And then we saw the announcer in the van full send that bitch ass to quarter.
Yeah, well, and, hell, we got to see the ass end of that Tahoe was going down.
Yes. I never think about that.
Well, no.
How many ass, if you just driving down the road and you see a wreck and you see a Tahoe take one in the ass, it's usually not down.
Right, and that motherfucker went down.
Down.
Well, enough that it poked a hole in the fuel tank.
Yep. And that class, we have spoke on here plenty of times that is the only rule set nationwide that is the same at every show.
Right.
It does. Nobody's promotion company takes precedence to change a rule. That's a set rule, and that's what you go by. That's one of those things where, hell, I mean, if you got the balls to do it, Minnesota had 100 and however many on the track at once, and they're going for another. They're going to shoot for it again. Try to break the world record. That's a Tix thing up there. I understand why he does it and what he's trying to do on their end
right
up there. But that lets that 15, 16-year-old kid, hey, Grandma.
Yeah. Can I have your old van out back?
Mm-hmm.
Or, that old Durango that you had. Can I have that?
And let them go out and send it.
Yeah.
To think, okay, I've got a couple $100 in it. Is it something I want to keep doing? Or, nah, it ain't for me.
I mean, all those that we seen run out there at Ohio, they all still had the windshields on them.
Yes. Airbags pulled, of course, but yeah. A lot of people. I mean, a lot of people that windshield don't bother them. They say, well, it's more protection.
It is. Like, you think about it, hood coming back, it'd be really hard to push a hood through a window.
Yes, very hard.
And we've said it a million times on here that the windshield is part of the structural integrity. Whenever they're crash tested and stuff like that, it reinforces the top of that car.
Yes, sir, it does.
But Friday, Pro Division Round 2, and Pro Light Division B Round 2.
Power wheels for days.
Yes, and then FS Pro Stock Heats, FS Elite Light Heats, which that will be me.
Yep.
Pro Division A Round 2 and Pro Light Division A Round 2. And that's Friday. That's a lot of cars to get across track.
Yes, it is. Starting at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
But now, Saturday, that changes stuff a little bit.
Starts at 4.
Yes.
And then they're running the B Round 3 for the Pro and Pro Light Division.
Yep.
And then the Elite Light Consi, which will be where I have to run, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. No. You said you have no intentions of running the Consi.
True that. I either want to be junk after the heat or be in the feature.
Yep.
That's my game plan. And I've already told T that. Unless something ignorant happens, break an axle or knock a wheel off or whatever. But my game plan is to make it to the feature or be putting it on the trailer in pieces.
With more than a skid steer and a winch.
Yeah.
Hold on. Pick this piece of shit up.
Yep.
And we're going to back the trailer under it. Yeah.
One of those. And then Sunday.
Well, hold on. Looky here, man. On Saturday, you've got the compact Elite Heats. You've got the Pro Truck Heats. You've got Pro Division A Round 3 and Pro Light Division A Round 3. Dude, you said when you just said there's a lot of cars running across the track on Friday, there's a shit ton going across on Saturday.
Right.
But there's that question of
how many's going to come back?
Correct. Like what you just said. My intention is either go to the feature or junk. Well, how many guys are going to have that same mentality?
Here's my issue, and I'm sure I'll catch some shit over it, but I don't have enough spare parts and shit for as soft as these cars are going to be.
To run them 3 times.
The way I plan on driving mine, you won't get 3 runs out of it. Like, you will. I mean, we might be able to
scab some shit together,
pull it back down and stuff. I can put a spindle on it or whatever if I break it. I can throw an axle in it, no big deal. But what I'm talking about is horseshoe accordion frames. I mean, because if and I told T, I said if it's down to 2 teams, her car looks good and mine is already going to shit. I was like, well. I said, at this point, you may have to go to the feature by yourself.
Correct. Put all efforts into the one car that has the best chance. Yes. Because
I told her, I said, I'll go. I mean, I can go into kill mode.
Yeah.
Like, don't hurt your shit whenever mine's already junk.
And that's the difference. When you're talking national level stuff, with the pro and the pro light stuff, we know, we've looked at the rules. We know what they get to do to frames.
Well, they're fixable.
Yes. You guys don't get that. You don't get all the weld wire.
No, we get 4 plates.
Yeah, so you can probably most of the time push that shit out with a bottle jack. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, and that's what we're going to take a couple 20-ton bottle jacks, porta power, shit like that. Just, but still, I don't have enough plate to fix where
it's going to go.
Yeah, because it won't just bend in one spot.
Well, it's going to bend in one spot probably more than the other.
Right.
Because of what you're taking. Yeah.
Well, and it depends. I mean, hypothetical. I blow the trunk off the bitch and drop the frame rails to the ground and snoot the front of it in 2 spots. I don't have enough plates to fix all that.
Correct.
So we chop the ass end off of it, pull the front down, put the plates up front, and whenever we go back out, it doesn't get to go backwards anymore.
Nope. I'm going that way.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I mean, those are all things that you think about going in there. You know, we talk about strategy all the time. Yeah, that's my game plan. That shit will change when the flag drops.
It always is.
Because T asked me, well, what do you think the heats are going to be like? I said, fast. I think they are. I think they're going to be real quick.
Mm-hmm.
She said, well, what are we going to do? I said, we're going to follow them.
Well, here's the deal. We always said opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one. Now, do I think the trucks that are the pro trucks, the pro and the pro lights are going to be fast? Yes, they're going to be extremely fast because of what they're in. I don't think we're going to see that same pace in all the heats for like your class.
Well, no, and you got to think there's going to be 5 teams on the track
at once.
Uh-huh.
So there's always comes back to that. You know, it depends on who is in your heat, but you know, could you draw somebody like a Dustin Kelsey's team?
Right.
That's just gonna go batshit. You know, Ethan like Lubricks, Blake and Ethan, them guys too, where they're just gonna full send it, or are you gonna have one crazy Mad Dog team with 4 guys or 4 other teams that are gonna be a little bit more chilled because they know what they're in, or they're just going to throw it out the window and just say fuck it and send it.
And I think that I don't know if I will be the team to turn it up off the rip. You never know until you're out there, or I don't. But if there is that one other team, I don't want to be on the brunt end of what they're doing.
Yeah.
So I will match your energy. Like if you're getting ignorant, I will too, because almost whenever you're running against that other Mad Dog team like that, they see that and they're like, well, I don't want to be hit at the same pace I'm hitting.
Mm-hmm.
So then you're kind of working together with the other Mad Dog team. And at that point, it's just, we'll see if these GMs will hold up to a Ford, because that's what's going to happen.
We hadn't really talked about it yet, except for on the rules. You know, you did say
they're written for a Ford.
They're written for a Ford.
100%. And anybody that wants to argue that, my inbox is open. And I've got nothing against Robbie. Like, I like the dude. I told you this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was fun. He was good to talk to. Really good dude. Ford parts are being sold. That class is for 9802.
But okay, here's that question. I'm gonna sit here and say, and this is just a guesstimate, 80% of the guys that we know well or just know of, they run GM drivetrains.
Right.
So, in that instance, like you could have took a Ford, put Simple Solution stuff in it and got it on. Or
I was all for doing that. I just wasn't comfortable trying everything in a big show. Like,
yeah.
However anybody wants to cut it. Not that I don't believe in the Simple Solution parts. I've never run them.
Mm-hmm.
I know my setup. Like, I know it inside and out.
But how many guys are going to have that same thought process?
I think you're going to see more guys that run that Simple Solution shit in that class than you don't. You know, that are already running it.
I mean, you know, because at King of Ohio, like, we saw Daryl Monroe.
Right.
I've seen Daryl in a lot of Fords.
Uh-huh.
I've never saw Daryl in a Ford with a 4.6 in it.
Right.
You know?
And they're impressive.
Oh, fuck, dude.
They're ignorant.
Yeah.
But that it entailed me buying another setup.
Mm-hmm. Not really another setup, just parts to make another setup.
Right, and I don't.
That goes to any other Ford that you would ever want to run.
Right. But realistically, am I going to come back and just start leaving 4.6s in cars? Probably not.
No. You could.
I could, but I'm not going to.
Chris Williams and I talked about that at Macon the other night. I had no idea until we went to Ohio what the 4.6s did. And in my personal opinion, I told Chris, I said, what I saw, them 4.6s at Ohio, with the Simple Solution stuff on there, in my opinion, they were better than an LS. A stock LS to a stock 4.6. I can't believe I'm ever sitting here saying that.
But there was issues that I saw that I pointed out to you about starting to run them everywhere. Mm-hmm. You know, the heat aspect of it. And I'm not saying that they didn't run through the heat, because they did. But they're like an LS. They're not going to take heat like an old small block will.
No.
There's no way. I don't care how good a parts you've got. Fuel injection will mess up.
Somewhere.
You know, you're going to end up, and I feel like there's more of a chance of a mess up with the fuel injection than there is a carburetor.
Well, anytime you're talking electronics around heat and water.
That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, that's two things that kill electric.
Those 4.6s are 14 foot wide, and the headers are literally touching the fenders.
They are out there. Even on the LS, you know, they're still kind of
not
out
like
there.
that.
But, you know, the LS with the factory 15-degree head, I mean, that just changes the platform of what has to be moved to get them out. Without a doubt, if you ever watch a 4.6, and you can tell,
100%,
because there's about 4 foot gap between header tubes from left to
you
the
can
right.
look around the driver's side header tube.
I'm wondering. I've never been even sit in a car with a 4.6. I don't even know if that
it's really
really
right in your line of sight.
That's what I was thinking. You know, does it destruct the view?
Well, my deal with it is we all know how flimsy the front fenders on a Ford are.
Mm-hmm.
Like the front clips they're nothing.
Yep.
How many have we seen deleted?
Yep.
Somebody clears a tire, it just looked like to me that they're not going to stop until,
because that's the problem. There's not really any inner structure to
Nothing.
a Ford fender. That's
Nothing.
why.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like you're talking about a deuce and a quarter that's got
a 1/4-inch fucking inner fenders.
inner fender that weighs fucking 18 pounds.
Yeah. So I mean, there's some disadvantages to them. I would say, like anything. But on the flip side, with that class and it being, you know, manufacturer to manufacturer, you've got your downfall. Like the metric Cadillacs, the ass end of them are junk.
I think that is kind of the game changer to that aspect of just coming back to it. You know, you've kind of got a little stockish 350 with a 400 tranny. That's your setup. That's what you have went to now. Thank God. I think we're going to see more metric GMs. We're going to see Roadmaster wagons.
Yep.
Roadmaster sedans, those, you know, 80s caddies. I think we're going to see a lot of those because somebody doesn't want to go out on a big stage, step on their dick with something they are not familiar with,
right,
such as the Simple Solutions. Right. That shit is just plug and play. It is, but it's still
it's proven though. I mean, it's been proven. It just, I guess it comes down to whatever mentality you have on how confident you are with your setup that you own.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, my Derby motor, the motor that's been ran 4 times now since it's been put as a Derby motor. It would not bother me to pull that motor out of the Derby car that it's sitting in right now and put in a fucking square body pickup.
Yeah.
And drive it.
Yeah. Yeah. That is that curveball to.
Oh, I think you're for sure going to see some metric GMs.
Oh, yes. But I really think you're going to see some metric GMs that are going to be driven the way Austin Johnson would drive them too.
Right.
You're going to see a Roadmaster wagon, and I think you're going to see probably a good handful of them and none of them are going to drive them that way.
Right.
I mean, because even though it's a wagon, it's still metric issues in the ass.
Well, and if you think about it, with like the Roadmaster wagons and stuff, you're getting a better rear end.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You never really, the Ford deal, whether, it's an 8.8 or a 9-inch or, I mean, I wouldn't go out there with a Ford unless it had a 9-inch under it.
Well, unless you built like one of the badass 8.8s that they're putting together. But then again, this is supposed to be a budget class.
Oh, yeah.
But it's on a big stage. We'll see what happens. I think it will be a very talked about heat down there. I think, or a class.
Oh, yeah. Because as of right now, we don't know
who's there.
We don't know who's coming.
Nope.
And we've got the list.
Right.
And we've got the list for the Pro and the Pro Lights, which some more of that is starting to come out.
Uh-huh. What's that something else we need to talk about?
Yeah, that's, oh my God.
Let's jump on to the rest of Sunday.
Sunday.
MWFA heat.
Mm-hmm. And they're starting at 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
Well, Power Wheels at 10:30. And you've just heard us here say Power Wheels. Power Wheels are every day the show is happening.
Yeah.
They're starting at 30 minutes before the showtime starts.
So are those kids going to have to bring parts?
I think Dale even posted that about Everett going, because what was cool is we get tagged on a lot of stuff, whether it's through Messenger or Snapchat or Facebook or whatever, and Dale and Casey Colbert gave Everett his invitation to Bristol Power Wheels. He thought it was to be on Hard Nosed Derby podcast. So he was pretty jazzed about it, and then they was like, no, this is for your Power Wheels, and I guess he flipped. He was so ready, and now they're running this every night, so I don't know if they have that many that are signed up where they're going to be running certain day or whatever, or they're just going to let them all, 100 of them or however many's out there,
keep running,
just get it on.
We've got the MWFA class, and then the Elite Light
feature,
Pro Stock feature,
yep,
Pro Division B feature, Pro Light Division B feature, Pro Division A feature, and Pro Light Division A feature.
So, what I read into that, I'm not sure if it's right because we haven't gotten any confirmation to that. But if you're running back to back, B feature to A feature, B feature guys going to the A feature if they win?
See, I don't know that.
Or is that Utah
right
give you some payout for that B feature and call it good?
I'm anxious to... I'm ready for a little bit more information.
And that will be coming when we're sitting here recording this thing.
Well, whenever this releases...
There's 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking we probably need to send some text or something like that, to have them answer the questions.
Yeah, because
that we're talking on.
I need to be there.
Yeah. You run on Thursday or you run on Friday. You run on Friday. Does that mean you're taking on Thursday?
Because if I'm taking on Thursday, I'm not going to leave till Wednesday.
Correct. But if you've got a tech on Wednesday,
I need to leave Tuesday
morning.
Yeah. I know that it's going to be nuts.
It will.
Really, I don't know why I'm worried about tech, and I probably ought to get the car done.
Yeah.
It is started.
That's the thing we were talking about. on these type of builds, not everybody has read the rules for every class. There's kind of like Austin and Zur, being the techs. They didn't even read the other stuff. They read what they're going to be teching. So let's just get it down here. What I would call bone stock is really what you're running.
Hobo. I call it hobo.
You get a cage.
I'm actually, this class is less than what I ran at Peoria. Actually, like a lot less. I mean, you're allowed a 4-point cage, a door skin, 24-inch tank protector,
bumper to car.
A good, no, you can run a good bumper, no pointies, and no manufacturer bumpers.
Factory loaded.
Well, you can run the
76.
No, Simple Solutions.
And the Adept bumpers.
Yeah. You can run those. I mean, it's pretty much. I mean, it's a 3-day build. It really is. Do you think people are going to go over that?
Sure.
Of course.
Sure.
But if you've got a stripped car sitting there in front of you, and you've got a couple guys that half-ass know what they're doing, like next Saturday, we're going to start putting the cage and stuff in mine. I would say by Sunday, we'll be building drive shaft and ready to start putting bumpers on. Like, all thread will be where it can be.
Do you get slider?
No, you can't.
No slider.
No. But I already told you what I'm running.
Mm-hmm.
I made a couple phone calls and found an old drive shaft.
Whole drive shaft. Your rear end, it's rear end to car.
Yep.
So if, GM to GM, Ford to Ford.
Yep.
Same way with motor and transmission.
But you cannot put a 9-inch under those Ford cars because they don't have one that's jigged to a 9802 out of the factory.
Because they are 8/8s.
Right. I mean, you can't, because there's no welding on the housing whatsoever.
No welding on the housing.
So you can't, they're stopping that 9-inch thing. They're stopping the 12 bolts going underneath, the hybrids.
Yeah, the control, can't do a bunch of shit with control arms, all that shit. What else?
That's it. And you're allowed 4 plates, but I think you got to buy them from them whenever you get there.
Do you get them after tech or do you get them before tech?
See, that's something that's not.
Yeah. Maybe we need to. We've already talked to Dustin. Maybe we need to get Brian on.
Yeah.
Before, just to maybe clear up some of them oversight areas.
Yeah, because it's, and we spoke on it with Rob. This is the first time.
Correct.
There's been some rough patches, even for me, as far as like getting questions answered. Like, I've got questions answered.
Well, at one point in time, you didn't even know who the hell to ask.
I didn't have a point of contact
for those questions.
Up until about a month ago.
Yeah, about the time we had Leon on, and where he said, "Hey, Robbie is doing the stock elite." So then you knew,
right? That dude's super busy.
Oh God, yeah, because they're building MWFA cars, 2 of them for Australian guys.
No, those are elite cars. Those are from our class.
Oh, they said MWFA.
Oh, I'm pretty sure that they're running our class.
Yeah, they do some crazy shit in Kentucky.
Yeah. But see, I think that's where we're going to see a lot of the cars that are in my class come from.
Yeah. Kentucky, Tennessee range.
Yeah.
Southern Indiana. Guys who...
Well, they've been running that motor swap class.
Because the guys we talked to the first car that we were actually under at King of Ohio, he was from, I believe, Kentucky.
I think so too.
Great dudes.
Yeah.
Cool as shit. And he was like, look anywhere you want to look.
Right.
And that's where we really started noticing, those, what I would say.
But if these are people that are used to running for Robbie,
They know what to expect.
well, they know what kind of tech they're going to get. And if he techs like he did at Ohio, at Bristol, which I don't have a doubt in my mind that that's how that'll be.
Mm-mm.
The way I build, we won't have to. I mean, like it'll be equal.
Correct.
Honestly, for what I do, like I'll probably have to cut because there were some things that he said that I probably would have done.
Yeah.
That he's like, we're not doing that.
No.
Well, and I mean, it's nothing that can't be fixed. It's just interpretation.
Yes. And it is. But the thing is about okay, let's talk about this. We got Leon. He's going for little cars.
Right.
We got Robbie that's going for the stock stuff. We got Austin Johnson and Mike Zer for the heavy stuff. I'm not sure on the trucks. If I'm going to guess, that's probably going to be Brian.
Right.
But you've got that level of those guys that, A, they know what the hell they're looking at. There's no questions.
Right.
But every one of them guys will give you respect as long as you give it. They will give it right back. And they will work with you on stuff. Hey, why did you do this? Just like we talked about Brian in there. He was like, when he was at King of Ohio, he's like, okay, here's what these rules say. Now, you did both.
Right.
You did both options, but which one would you like? Which one would you rather take care of?
And if you've watched the YouTube stuff, like they explain that to it. There was no screaming, cussing, and yelling. And you know how I am when I go through tech. I went through tech out there at Peoria.
Usually your ass sucks buttermilk because it slams shut.
Yep. But they had some questions on my car out there at Peoria. And some of the stuff I was like, well, here's why I did it. I was like, here's what your rules say. I said, now this is what you're saying. And I was never like, hey, you stupid cocksucker, And I was like, here's text messages, where I'd ask some questions. And the whole time they were like, no, we'll 100%.
Correct.
Understand.
Stand with it and stand behind it.
If you go into that with a positive attitude and not being a dick, because I think a lot of people in a tech line, they feel like that their intelligence is being questioned, and some techs do come off like that.
Oh yes.
But you gotta almost take that emotion out of that. Don't feel attacked on it. Start justifying why you did it.
You go through whether it's a mod car, light wheeled, stock car, gut and go, whatever. There's always those people who are so instantaneous as soon as they get questioned.
Yeah.
It's almost to the aspect of them being called a cheater without being called a cheater.
Right. Well, yeah, they feel like they're being attacked.
Correct. So they get super defensive, and then it turns into a big-ass argument, and then there's 16 people
could have been
pissed
a
off.
logical, solution made for the issue. Because if I'm looked at by tech, and like I even get a little pissy about it, but I don't ever show it. Whenever they're like, why did you do that? I'm like, well, watch your tone with me, motherfucker. But
Bitch getting ready to join the Slabaho tribe.
I was like, here's why. We had issues with bumper shocks. One part of the rules, it said you could run the factory shock mounted in stock location, bumper bolted or welded to your factory shocks.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the next part, it said that you were only allowed a 6-inch bumper bracket for an 80s and newer class or stuff like that. You don't see a lot of bumper brackets that are over 6 inches. Crown Vics and stuff. That's, again, we come back to everybody writing their rules for a Ford.
Yep.
I took a Mopar that had a Mopar factory shock on it.
Mm-hmm.
All I did was clap the shock so I didn't extend it, and it was still bolted factory position. But I don't give a shit if you collapse them, whatever you do, they're over 6 inches.
Yes. I mean,
I welded the front 6 inches of it because I didn't know whenever I got out there if they were going to make me cut it off. And if I went to go cut that off, subframe Mopar, it's really hard to cut weld off sheet metal.
And I think that's where a lot of people need to go back and readjust. And I'm not saying readjust all the rules, but
they've got to quit writing rules for
just for a Ford.
And you see it a lot.
Yes. One thing that when we went to Utah last fall is they were actually, Johnny told us, we have shortened our rules because we were trying to reinforce shit that didn't matter.
Right.
The notorious fucking door seam welding.
Right.
The nitpicky shit that's not going to make a shit bit of difference.
I've told you this.
Of the outcome of that show.
Told you this. It drives me insane. Either go wire or chain your door shut, or let them weld them.
Yep. Driver's door. It should not make a shit if it's welded all the way around it. As long as they can prove that they can see inside that door that there's nothing in there.
Right.
Who gives a shit? It still comes back to driver safety. How many times have we ever talked about it? It does not make a shit if that cage is 2x6, 2x4, 4x4.
As long as it's so far off the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And so far off the firewall.
Mm-hmm.
So far off the rear humps. And you're still just using your 2x2 down tube. I don't care if you've got solid 2-inch by 10-inch solid lead doors.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going, the weight might help a touch. But especially if it's only on the driver's side.
Yes.
Well, you know what happens if you start enforcing one rail over another. That's how stupid shit starts happening.
That's right.
That's why we never had an issue with that with Filthy. If they had an extra down tube on the driver's side that I could tell where it was at, wasn't running an angle or anything, they just had one that was staggered a little bit farther back, right by their leg. I'm good with that.
Yep. We've always said, if it's in that box,
yes,
get after it.
Uh-huh.
Get after it.
Oh, you can't gusset your cage. Please do. Like do that.
We've seen street stocks around here. They got the cage knocked out of it.
Yeah.
With down tubes because it didn't have a gusset in it.
Yes.
Why? What's that hurt?
Well,
and that was right above his left leg.
Yeah.
Jordan Wood.
Yeah, that scares me.
Yeah. It wasn't a door shot that he took, but it was that killer firewall shot that wrecked everything.
Uh-huh. And even if the cage was gusted, it still would have done what it was doing. It just wouldn't have come toward the driver like it
did. Yeah, it would have just went straight sideways instead of actually coming towards his lap.
Yeah.
There were some cars, I'm going to say it, there were some cars last night at Centralia. They got some shit tore up. Their steering column laying in people's lap.
Well, because I guarantee you one of the big issues I have through the tech line in Bristol will be my cage. I don't build a punk cage. I'm not going to.
No.
I've got 3 kids.
Mm-hmm.
I got a job that I've got to go to. I'm not getting in a car unless I feel safe in the car.
Correct.
Simple as that. And if they want to try to make me cut something out that I feel like is... Because one of the things that I've caught hell over several times is I always run a kicker bar from my halo down to my tank protector.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what do you need that for? Well, in case that sheet metal wad's up in the back, I don't get tagged in the back of the head with a door.
Correct.
And it's never anything stupid. It's 1/4-inch 2x2.
It's not a 4x4. It's not a 3x6.
No.
It's not T1.
It's 2x2. Just to keep something. And it's always head height. And I've tried to tell him that. I was like, I never run it to the roof. I never try to bring it straight off the door. I said it's head height, right at the back of my seat, and it comes down off my halo and goes to my tank protector.
And that's the part that kills me, is because it is going from the halo to the top of the protector behind your head. Is that making the car harder?
No,
not whatsoever. And I think that is that part where Johnny and Dale and Will and them guys and Scooter, that doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, what I got, they were like, well, no more than, your tank protector can't be more than 24 inches wide. And I said, man, this would be different if I was pulling this off the back of the door bar or, pushing it toward the outside of the tank protector on the back of it by the humps, something like that. I said, but all it does is it kind of reinforces the pillar if it tries to push, the halo around or whatever.
Yep.
I want that cage tied together. I want the cage tied together as much as possible.
Yes. Because it's just cage.
Well, I feel like anything inside your cage should be legal. As long as it's not touching the floor and shit. Like, I'm good with it.
Yep.
So, now that we're on that subject, let's roll over to Pete Hansen. Just that picture.
Wow. Pete's team changed a little bit, which we did talk with Pete on that. He had Mr. Trace Braun. Trace had some health issues. So Pete had to readjust.
Right.
Hansen Motorsports, hypothetical, versus Toast Inc. Motorsports. Whew. How about Pete Hansen? Junebug, Mr. Caleb Joy. Corey Roman and Dustin Joy. 2 Pennsylvania, 2 Ohio's. Versus... Whew. Toast, Rhett Galooey, Ryan Durham, and Shane Jones. 3 Indiana guys, 1 Kansas.
Which, if you look at that, so Indiana, Pennsylvania, Ohio.
Yes.
Those dudes have run into each other before.
Guarantee you.
Too close.
So, Toast and Rhett Galooey, they were on Iron City Promotions together last year at Gold Rush. Ryan Durham has ran with Toast before. Shane Jones. The last time I saw Shane Jones was in I believe a 5-foot car in Sturgis, Kentucky. One of them turtle shell,
right?
Steel plated everywhere. But I guarantee you, Mr. Shane Jones has built a car such as what he's going to be taking. Combined years of experience. 60 plus on Pete's team. 90 plus on Toast's team. Feature wins. 208 for Team Hansen and 80 plus on Toast.
See, my stats are easy. Like, I've got 1 feature win and a combined total of $1,200 won.
Well,
that's why I'm not in this class.
You don't have... Don't take this with any disrespect. You don't have the knowledge in the build process to do these.
Absolutely not.
And I figured you would agree with that. Your bank account isn't near big enough.
No. No, the way my bills are set up, my bank account stays on like that lower end.
Same. $10K combined feature wins. Dead even heats.
Yes.
6-6. Man, these are going to keep coming out. So the world's going to be able to see. The world will have the entire list for the Pro and the Pro Light before Bristol happens. We've already been told that. We knew there was a system. We knew there was a basis on how and why they were doing it. But, wow.
Did you see Pete's cage?
Yes.
What's your thoughts?
Holy shit.
It's a lot.
But in Ohio, that's something that, I don't know, I guess it's habit. I mean, first thing you do is I look in there and I'm like, oh my God. Why doesn't everybody do that? But
I don't want to hit his firewall.
Ever. I wouldn't want to hit his firewall with a dozer.
Well, my deal, because we were talking about this, I was showing some guys the other night. You take one of the stock cars, the hobo cars, and you could junk it running into the passenger door.
With one shot.
Uh-huh.
One. We're talking snoot. I'm snoot, junk, toast.
Yes.
Gone.
Uh-huh.
One hit.
I've wondered about this, the whole, because basically he's building a door bar like a bumper.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the gusseted bumpers.
Correct.
And I've wondered about that. Because, I mean, it would work 100%. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And look, holy shit, clean.
Yes. Yeah, there was part of his cage that almost looked polished.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it wasn't, but it is so meticulous. You can't see where his welds start and stop. I mean, we could always see where a weld starts.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. But everything was so fluent and just almost seamless that you couldn't. It looked like he took a 60-inch weld and started from end to end and never stopped, never slowed down. It almost looked like it was almost machine welded.
Yeah.
That's meticulation to the highest level that you can get, in my opinion.
You know what would have really, really, really messed this whole Bristol Derby up? If there was a shortage in welding wire.
They wouldn't have had it.
I mean, let's talk about it. I know what they're paying out at Bristol, and the cars that are going to be there, this is no parts, no steel, no nothing. There will be more welding wire in cars, the total amount of cars that are there, than what they're paying out.
I'll agree with that. I will agree with that. Denton. He had a Snapchat sent out the other day.
One guy.
Bought a pallet.
Uh-huh.
44-pound rolls were $90. I'm going to say there's going to be, for the heavy cars, and I might be on the light side, but there will be 4 rolls.
Let's say light.
Minimum per car per team.
And that's just per the welding the car together. That's not counting what you've built parts wise.
Mm-hmm.
The bumpers and stuff like that. I'm just talking in straight up welds on cars, whether it was parts that were made, whatever. There will be so much money in weld wire at that place. It's just ridiculous. And then you got Chad Markley. He's just on his first box. Did you see that?
His first box my ass.
Did you see it?
Yeah. I think that's some of that Kansas bullshit.
No, he doesn't use the rolls. He's still on his first box. If you're going to play with the big boys, stop buying 6-packs and buy a 30 box.
Oh, God.
I mean, it's just it's crazy to me. It's wild.
Well,
Did you see Chad's new bumper?
no.
Faulkner Fab.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Check out the new Team Kansas bumper.
I did see that. My bad. I did see that the other day. Yeah.
Which I'm a little disappointed in Chad because he's been running that same bumper for 94 years.
Oh, it'll be on his Blizzard Bash car.
I know, but it's just I don't know how I feel about change.
Yeah, if something's working, it's hard to get off that bandwagon without a doubt. But even talking to Chad at Bowling Green and talking to him at Ohio, Bristol is a new thing. We understand that. He was 100% on board to do this, but Blizzard Bash is still his baby.
Right. Well,
no matter who's running it. Correct. I mean, when you've won it 4 times, that it's that spot in your heart. Like I said, no matter if it's Sam or Tim or whoever running it, that's something that he's going to go to every year. One, it's close to home, but I think the major part, it is part of him now, I would say. Would he love to win Bristol? Well, hell yeah, he would. I mean, nobody's going to Bristol to run 2nd or 3rd or 5th or whatever. And I think if you have that mentality, you probably need to stay at home.
Yeah. Maybe I should just stay at home.
To those levels. Well, I'm talking about the pro light side. When you've got teams such as Octane and Team Kansas and Hanson Motorsports and No Namers, RDP, Derby Builds, those, in my opinion, are the guys at the top of the game. There were some people on that list that we have seen that we know some bad dudes that aren't on that list.
Right.
But they're still the bad dudes that can go there and compete against the best in the world, best in the country, whatever you got to do. But it's going to be a show. Without a doubt, it's going to be a show. If you can't make it, I'm positive it's on DerbyNation.tv.
Yeah.
I'm sure they have a day pack and they have a weekend pass as well. So, if you can't make that trip, you can still watch it from the comfort of your living room. Speaking of living room,
yeah,
my living room is going to change next week.
Yes.
We are headed to Utah.
No, you are.
Utah State Fair, Salt Lake City, Utah, Stern Dirt Promotions, Stern Dirt Racing. Johnny, Gullo, Gumby, and their crew. We will be taking in all the scenery, hanging out with our 2 badass sponsors, 2 of the 3 that we have, with Broadhead Decals and Justin, and Triple B's Tees and Nathan and his group. Got some Utah dudes that are going to be making that trip up north for them to come hang out. I am ready. It's supposed to be absolutely beautiful weather.
I'm telling you, if it wasn't for this Bristol thing, I would go, because the job change would have allowed me to go.
Well, maybe if somebody might have started on the car before.
You're right. You're right.
True dat, he says. True dat.
Well, I didn't pick the car that I was going to take until last weekend.
Yep. But
I'm still stressing my teammate out a little bit.
Well, hers is done.
Not quite.
Hers is 95% done. Let's put it that way.
I was going to say, she's waiting on me to send her a switch box.
Hold on, didn't you say that last week?
Yeah, we sent it out, and it was one of yours and your wife's deal. It showed back up at my house.
Oh, return to sender shit. Has
she ever actually met you?
No.
Like, does she realize you're the kind of person that's going to be late to your own funeral?
No, not at all. She has no clue.
She does now. Sorry, T.
Yeah, because she goes, "Are you going to get your car done?" I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "You." She's like, "You haven't started." I was like, "Yeah, but I work better under pressure." You laugh, you know it's true.
There's without a doubt, guys. There is a very good chance of somebody riding on the trailer,
bolting the carburetor,
pulling into Bristol,
bolting the carburetor on the side.
Yes.
No, like I said, with what I'm taking, what is built, it will come together a lot faster than what
it does.
The car's already stripped, all the metal's there. Like, I'm not waiting on parts.
Yep.
We're basically putting a 50-piece puzzle together.
Yep. But
now, if we go to put it in drive and it doesn't move, we've got issues.
Well,
I don't want to talk too much about the Utah stuff until you get back.
Yep. I am going to be doing some live stuff out there. Like, not the show, because I'll be on with Full Contact Derby TV.
Right.
To do that live stream on YouTube, so you can get on Stern Dirt Racing on YouTube. Click on Day of Reckoning, see my ugly ass.
And I apologize in advance for the lack of comedic relief that's going to be on there this year.
Well, maybe we can get Johnny some more pain pills.
There you go. Well, they'll just take the mic from him.
Yeah, he'll just walk off like he did last year. But we're going to do some live stuff. We're going to hang out with some dudes, probably do one or two small interviews
yeah,
like we did with Star last year, in the little building there. I think
it's cool. You'll have a better opportunity this time to catch up with some of those drivers because we know them now.
Yes.
Over the last year, we've got a lot closer and a lot more acquainted with a lot of these drivers out there.
Yeah.
And I definitely want you to stick a camera in Justin Broadhead's face.
In the tech line?
Oh, yeah. 100%.
I could probably do that.
But don't let him know you're coming. Like, I need you to sneak attack him.
Ninja style?
Yes.
From the back?
Yeah, just
whack. Already on live?
Uh-huh.
Hey, Justin. And there he is.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to listen to this Thursday, so we're hosed.
Well, that's fine. He still won't see you coming. He'll still be doing his job.
He will. That he will. But we're going to catch up with some dudes.
Yep. Make sure that you give Justin a little heads up that you need some stickers.
Yeah, because I don't know what all I can get in my bag.
Well, I mean, the guy that makes them is driving there.
Yes, it's an hour and 21 minutes from Johnny's to Justin's.
Yeah.
And the arena is almost in the middle.
Uh-huh.
So he's 45 minutes away or something. But yeah, I'll shoot him a text and make sure to load up some of them with some walking pancakes.
Oh, yeah.
But, dude, I say you get to building, sir.
Yeah.
And Utah, we will see you in a day or two.
Yeah.
So if you see my ugly ass walking around, come up and introduce yourself, please.
Smack him.
Well, I'm used to getting smacked, but come up and introduce yourself. hang out. We'll shoot some shit for a little bit and let you go about your business. So, go to work.
That's where I'm headed.
Got any last words?
Nope.
Make junk, boys.
Since Justin has been on board with us at Hard Nose, we have figured out how much Broadhead Decals means to the sport of demolition derby. His great quality parts are seen from coast to coast and everywhere in between.
But he can do more than just derby products. Your everyday business may need some pep in its step with new banners or stickers. And just give him an idea and let him run with it. Whether it's business related or just want to look badass in the winner circle, let Broadhead Decals work for you.
Triple B's Tees offer custom shirts and logo designs for all your apparel and merchandise needs, offering a variety of shirts, hats, hoodies, tumblers, and koozies. Triple B's will work with you one-on-one to personalize and perfect your logo. With over 5 years in the business, 20 years in the sport, they live for Demolition Derby.
Chunk and his crew can bring your imagination to realization with zero limitations. So for all your badass tees, choose Triple B's.